The hospital corridor smelled faintly of antiseptic and stale coffee. Nurses rushed past, doctors murmured urgent instructions, and the quiet hum of machines filled the background. But in the middle of it all, a tiny, trembling voice broke through the chaos. "My hand hurts so much," the little girl whimpered, clutching her small fingers against her chest. She couldn't have been more than 7 years old, her eyes swollen from crying, her messy hair clinging to her damp cheeks. No one seemed to notice at first. Everyone was busy, too busy. But then an elderly janitor pushing a squeaky cart stopped. He bent down slowly, his knees cracking as he lowered himself to her level. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" he asked gently. She lifted her tiny hand. It was wrapped clumsily in a napkin, blood seeping through in spots. She must have cut it badly, perhaps from broken glass or a fall. Tears streamed down her face. I just want my dad," she whispered, her voice breaking. The janitor's heart tightened. He didn't know who her father was, but at that moment it didn't matter. He tore a piece of his clean rag, carefully wrapped it around her hand, and said softly, "You're not alone. I'm here until he comes." He sat beside her on the cold hospital bench, ignoring the annoyed glances of others as his mop bucket blocked the way. To her, his presence was the only comfort in a world that suddenly felt too big and too cruel. Then, the air shifted. Doors burst open, and a man strode in with 2 bodyguards trailing behind him. His tailored suit, polished shoes, and commanding presence made everyone stop and stare. People whispered his name, a millionaire businessman, known across the city for his power and wealth. But the moment his eyes landed on the little girl, his entire demeanor shattered. The man's face softened, and in a voice no one had ever heard from him before, he cried out, "Emily!" The girl's tear-stained face lit up. "Daddy!" The janitor instinctively stepped back as the man rushed forward, dropping to his knees in a way no one expected from someone of his stature. He cradled his daughter's injured hand with trembling fingers, his eyes brimming with tears. "What happened? Who let this happen to you?" His voice cracked, not with anger, but with fear. "She fell," the janitor explained quietly, hesitant to speak. I just tried to stop the bleeding until you came." The millionaire turned his head slowly toward the janitor, and for the first time in years, he looked at someone not as a billionaire, not as an employer, but as a father desperate for help. Their eyes met, and there was something unspoken in that moment, gratitude, humility, and respect. The man swallowed hard, his throat tight. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice trembling. "You didn't have to, but you did." Emily's small hand tugged at her father's sleeve. "Daddy, he stayed with me. He made me feel safe." The janitor smiled faintly, his weathered face softening. "Sometimes all a child needs is someone to sit beside them." For a moment, the world stood still. The millionaire hugged his daughter close, his sharp edges melting away in the warmth of her tiny arms. And as he held her, he looked again at the janitor, this time not as a stranger, but as the man who had been there when his daughter needed someone most.